Lesson 21. Lesson 21 is about the product rule for exponents and addition of like terms with exponents. Now if you look in your textbook, you'll see that the product rule for exponents is x to the m times x to the n is equal to x to the m plus n. So if we want to simplify this, we take the base, they're the same, it stays the same across, and the powers are added together to form our simplified answer. So let's say we had x to the third times x squared. That's going to have to be x to the fifth power. Our bases are the same, so we can add up our powers. We've got 3 and 2, that gives us a fifth power. Let's say we had y to the 13th, y to the 4th. Well, that's going to be equal to y to the 17th. Now, let's look at this one. Let's say that we had x to the third, y to the 4th. This is already simplified. These bases are different, so we can't add the powers up here. This would have to be our final answer. We can't simplify that anymore. Let's look at a few more examples. Let's say we have this. We've got m to the third power, pmx m squared x to the third, p to the fifth. Now what we want to do is we want to figure out how many powers of m we have, how many powers of p we have, and how many powers of x we have. So let's look at our m's. Okay, we've got m to the third power. We've got m, that must be m to the first power. We've got m to the second power, and we can add all those up. We've got m to the 3 plus 1 plus 2. That must be m to the sixth power. So we've got m to the sixth power. Then, let's look at our p's. We've got p, that must be p to the first. We've got p to the fifth, so p to the first plus p to the fifth, 1 plus 5, that must be p to the sixth power. And then finally, we have our x's. We've got x, that must be x to the first. We've got x to the third, 1 plus 3, that must be 4. So we've got x to the fourth power. If you like writing in colored pencils, you're more than welcome to on your homework or your assignments so that you can see the different parts of the problem. If you write in one color, that's fine as well. But we've got the same answer either way. M to the sixth, p to the sixth, x to the fourth. And that's our final answer. We can't simplify it anymore because our bases are all different. Here's another one. This one looks complex, but it's the same thing. What we have to do now is we have to take one step at a time, and we're going to figure out how many x squared, y, p to the fifths we have. Let's start with that one. We can see we have one of them right here. There's no coefficient out in front, so we have a 1. X squared y p to the fifth. X, oh, that's not the same, so we're going to skip it for now because it's just x to the first. We've got x squared, we've got y, and we've got p to the fifth. That's exactly the same, so we're going to put this in. We've got x, oh, not x squared, like the ones before, so we can't add them together. Now we see we have 1 and we have 3, so that must be 4 x squared y p to the fifths. Okay? If you have a question, review this concept. Watch that part of the video one more time or write it down and ask it in class. Then, the next one we have x, y squared p to the fifth, and we have 2 of them. Okay? We've got 2x squared y p to the fifths. Says so right there, 2. Then we have x, y squared p to the fifth. Okay, and we have -7 of them. Says so right there. So we now need to add. We're going to have 2 x y squared p to the fifth minus 7 y squared x p to the fifth. And it doesn't matter what order these are in because the order of multiplication doesn't matter. So what we have is 2 minus 7, which must be -5. So we have -5 x y squared p to the fifth. And it doesn't matter which order you write your variables in for your final answer. Your final answer is going to come up just like we have here. We've got 4x squared y p to the fifth minus 5x y squared p to the fifth. Make that more of a 2. And we're all done. That's our final answer. We can't simplify it anymore because our variables are they're not the same. Okay, these are not like terms because we've got an x squared here and an x. We've got a y and a y squared. Those aren't the same. Even though the p to the fifths are the same, those other two being different overweigh that. Our lesson practice will be on page 93. Please write down any questions that you have. Come to class prepared, get all your notes done, and I will see you soon.